The Edison Museum, not open to the public. Its haunted towers rise into the clouds above it.
That song you just heard was The Edison Museum by They Might Be Giants, and we're continuing our conversation with John Flansburgh and John Lino. Is the Edison Museum really not open to the public, guys?
No, it's a lie. It's one of many lies on the record.
You're lying to the kids.
Well, you know, they can take it.
All right. Hey, I couldn't help but notice, but you guys have 4 websites. The average American only has 2, and one's devoted to the cat. You got tmbg.com, giantkid.net, theymightbegiants.com, and dialasong.com. You really need that many websites?
Well, I mean, I think it's, you know, one of them is sort of dedicated to news, and it's very easy for us to update. So it doesn't, you know, one of the problems that a lot of bands have is it's very difficult to kind of keep the fresh stuff up front. So there's a news site, and then we have an archive site that's got a lot of interesting, fun stuff to get kind of more involved in. Dial-A-Song is its own thing, and it's a very simple interface. So, you know, it's just an interesting way to do it.
We'll talk a little bit more about Dial-A-Song later, but right now let's talk about tmbg.com. It's loaded with audio, video, flash, games. To what extent are you guys involved with the creation of the site? You said that you sort of leave it up to the hands of your other designers to do the enhanced CD. How much are you involved here?
Well, as far as the design, that is those guys. You know, it's the distinctive style of a chopping block. But we provide the content. You know, it's pretty much us writing the little pieces and doing the little video things, and that's, you know, I feel like that's a pretty personal website for us.
Yeah, I think they've done a pretty masterful job of encapsulating the They Might Be Giants audio into sort of a visual form.
Yeah, and you know, they understand the band, they understand our aesthetic, and you know, they kind of take our songs and take, you know, the style that we've explored in our videos and kind of fill it out in web form.
Yeah, I've always been curious. How would you describe your aesthetic? You could sum it up in like, you know, a phrase maybe.
To taxi drivers, I say we do short melodic songs, kind of like the Beatles, but with stranger lyrics.
Yeah, that sounds about right. You know, fans, they all love the interaction. They want to talk with the band members, and you guys, of course, you get all the email, you've got a fax, you've got a chat room. You also have a net cam. So They Might Be Giants fan goes and looks at the net cam. What can they expect to see?
Oh, I think that's just a big fake. I'm not sure if it's the one I'm thinking of.
It's on our own website. There's a thing that's called a net cam, but it's a gag. It's not really what's happening live. It's
oh yeah, those are just short films of songs.
Oh, okay. Yeah. You call it the Q cam, and it's not actually a net cam. We're not watching anything live.
No. They're actually just little songs that we've recorded using that crummy little camera.
You guys are just full of trickery and chicanery here.
Yeah, sure.
Now, one of the coolest sites you guys do of the 4, I think, is dialasong.com.
Yeah.
Tell us the whole story behind that.
Well, Dial-A-Song dates back to a time when we really did just put our songs on a telephone machine. In fact, we still do that, but that's been going for about 18 years now. We got a phone machine, and we started putting our songs on it and advertising it in the early 1980s. And that was strangely popular. We didn't make any money off of it. We still don't, but it was a great way for us to have this particular kind of direct connection to our audience. So that kind of grew into the online version. You know, we still think of it. I mean, you don't dial phones anymore anyway, so
few of us do. But over the past 18 years, people could dial an actual phone number and hear one of your songs.
You still can. Yeah. The number is actually on all our records, and if people want to grab a pencil, I'll even announce it in a couple of minutes.
Is this the answering machine in one of your homes, or how many lines are there? If I call it and my floor director calls at the same time, is one of us going to get a busy signal?
Absolutely.
Exactly.
We've been delivering disappointment since 1984. Yeah, busy signals are our business at Dial-A-Song, and but it kind of clears up at night. It doesn't get that many calls late at night, and we want to encourage people to wake up in the middle of the night and call the Dial-A-Song service.
Well, one way you don't disappoint your fans is to provide the free MP3s.
Yep.
How can they sign up for those?
If you go to tmbg.com and just sign up there, you instantly receive a brand new song or a song from our vaults that's just awaiting for you after you sign up. So we want to encourage everybody to go to the sign-up page at tmbg.com. And basically, about every week or two, we'll send you a link to a new MP3, and we're pretty busy with it. You know, it's a great way to kind of build up a core audience and kind of turn people onto our music.
Yeah, and back in 1999, you released Long Tall Weekend. This was an album which was entirely MP3 for purchase online.
Yep.
How was that experience? I mean, was that as successful as some of your other albums that are only available in the store?
Well, you know, I mean, the funny thing about it is, I guess we sold like 25,000 copies of it or something like that, which is not really great by like major label standards, but considering it doesn't really cost very much to make, and the profit margins are crazy, so it was kind of a win-win situation. A lot of our fans are pretty technology savvy, so it wasn't a big stretch for them.
Well, if you guys are sending out these free MP3s, post them on your websites. Let's talk a little bit about file sharing. How do you feel about Napster's gone now, but all the other file sharing clients out there where people can, more or less, most people would say, steal your music, not pay anything for it?
Well, I think it's, for us, sharing music and doing this kind of stuff has always been in the spirit of our band, and we have no problem with it. But when I think about older musicians and people who are relying on royalties to survive, I can't really feel so great about it. I don't feel like super psyched. It's like, all right, I got 50 cents that should have gone to Bo Diddley. That's so cool. I don't know. I have a lot of respect for both John and I have a lot of respect for songwriters and performers, a lot of whom aren't active on the scene and really rely on those strange ways that musicians actually make money after they get off the road or after they are on the radio to make a living. So I think they deserve that, and I think they deserve our respect. And I think what everybody needs to do is figure out a way that it's not just major record labels fighting fans, but actually fans figuring out how to respect musicians' lives, because a musician's life is a pretty crummy deal anyway. It's not like people go like, oh, it was great, I was a musician, I made so much money, it was crazy. I mean, all behind the musics end the same way. I mean, I don't know if you've noticed that.
Yeah.
But
and ours is going to be no exception.
Right. In fact, right after we leave the studio tonight, we're going to try to figure out how to hit rock bottom. So I don't know. It's a complicated question, and I think it deserves a more thoughtful analysis than a lot of the kind of ways people discuss it in general.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I guess we could say the same thing about people who host television programs. Anyway, the new CD is called No. Here it is right here. Thank you very much to John Flansburgh and John Linnell.
Nice talking to you.
Hey, man, thanks very much. Been listening to you for years. Take it easy, all right? Good luck with the new CD. Now, if you can't get enough of They Might Be Giants, check out our website for all the links to all of the Giants' websites at thescreensavers.com.